From the campus of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Consider This, a program of issues and information behind today's news.
So one of the biggest problems that we face in America right now is getting everyone connected to the internet, modern telecommunications networks, and especially in rural America, closing what we call the rural digital divide. And my research studies the economics of how we do this, the technical challenges that we face in doing this, and also a lot of the political dynamics that we need to overcome if we want to get everyone connected to the internet.
Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt. Welcome to the 25th season and this week's edition of Consider This. Our topic, the digital divide. Joining us via Zoom to talk more about it are Don Lindsley, a career and college readiness extension educator for Nebraska 4-H, and Caroline Slama. Caroline is a high school student from David City and a national spokesperson with the 4-H Tech Changemakers program. Welcome to the two of you, and thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Don, we're going to start with you. How do you define the digital divide?
So when I think about the digital divide, I think about how we share information and communicate, and so much of it is done on the internet and via digital technology anymore, and that divide is really kind of the haves and have-nots. So sometimes that's low due to low income, sometimes it's due to geographic location, access. Some people are just able to do that better than others, and particularly we see that in the rural areas.
Okay, one of the terms that we hear a great deal when talking about this topic is broadband. How do you explain that to people?
So when we talk about broadband, it's different technology or techniques that they use to basically send lots of information simultaneously across high-speed internet. And so if you want to think about fiber optic cables, wireless cable, DSL, those are kind of examples of how we use, or examples of broadband.
Okay, and how many people are without this nationwide?
So if we look at nationwide statistics, we're over 20 million who are without broadband access, so that high-speed internet. And so that's a significant number when you think about it.
What about here in Nebraska, Don? What are we looking like?
So we're about 20% without high-speed internet here in the state of Nebraska, and so that figures up to about 151,000 people across the state.
Okay, talk about life for those people, especially here in Nebraska, who are without.
So it's harder to get information. You might be lagging behind in getting the latest information that you need. It may be hard for you to be able to do things like this, where you can watch video and not have it constantly buffering on your computer. That can impact a lot of students these days, especially when many of them have devices that they bring home to work on homework. So many things have moved to digital. It's really hard when you don't have that high-speed internet access over broadband.
Okay, and challenges obviously made worse by the pandemic. Talk about that.
Yes, definitely. It definitely brought to light a problem that was already there, but because everyone across the country was experiencing it at the same time, it made it very clear that we have a gap, and it can be causing an opportunity gap in education, in careers, in economic vitality in our communities. And so it's definitely something that, many people consider an infrastructure in our system nowadays. And so we need to really think about how we can improve this. And definitely for those of us who live in rural areas, it's an issue that needs to be addressed.
Well, and that is exactly what 4-H is doing. Talk about how 4-H is becoming part of the solution.
So we are excited to be able to partner with some different entities and really have teachers, teens serve in the teacher role. They're the digital natives. They've grown up with technology around them all the time. So they're able to learn it. They're able to be able to explain it in ways that others may better understand. And so we have partnered with a coalition to really start offering. And our focus this time around is really with employability skills and how can we improve helping people get some digital skills. 4-H is a program that's based in Extension, which is part of our land grant system in the United States. And so we have several tech change makers, 518 states in the national program, and Nebraska is a part of that. So we're excited to be doing that. And so we're able to go out into communities and reach people in person programming, as well as do some virtual programming online and be able to teach digital skills so people can improve themselves as we move forward.
Well, and one of those teenagers just happens to be with us today. How would you introduce Caroline Slama?
Caroline is someone I've known for a few years now. Interestingly enough, we live in the same county in Nebraska, and so it's exciting that she was able to take on a leadership role and step up and take the initiative. She's very passionate about giving back to the community and helping others, and so I'm so excited she's a part of this program and excited to hear what she has to say today.
Well, we are as well. Caroline, an official welcome to you.
Hello.
That was quite an introduction. I thought Dawn did a great job, and we are obviously going to talk more about you. Before we do that, I want to give our viewers an idea of David City. We're going to put a map up. Tell us what's important to know about where you live.
David City is about 2,900 people. We are agricultural based, and we all pretty much know each other. You can walk into the store and probably meet some of your close friends. We have 2 high school systems, and yeah, we're pretty much like every other small town in Nebraska, but we all appreciate each other and we work together when we have problems in our community.
Okay, now let's get to you. What's important to know about you, and I'm especially interested in how you became involved with 4-H.
Right. I'm a high school student. I go to Aquinas High School in David City. I got involved with 4-H actually through Dawn. We were at a different 4-H camp, a leadership camp, and she was like, hey, I think you'd be really good for this, and I think you need to apply to this 4-H Tech Changemakers thing. And I had no clue what it was. I mean, I was busy doing my schoolwork. I mean, I wasn't really focusing on that. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll look at it. And I didn't really expect to get like the interview they had. So basically you have an online survey where you have to fill out a bunch of answers to these like 10 questions. And then they'll pick like 25, 26 people from there. And then they'll actually interview them over Zoom. And when I got the like email saying like, hey, we're going to interview you over Zoom. And I was like, what? I didn't expect it. And then when I got the email that I had been selected as one of the 6 to be the national spokesperson, I like freaked out. And so that's kind of how I got into the more 4-H Tech Changemakers, but I've always been a part of 4-H. I've been in it since I was 5.
Okay, I need to go back a little bit because I think you're shortchanging yourself just a bit. So you said something to the effect that Dawn had approached you and said, hey, I think you'd be really good for this. Tell us a little bit more about you. Why did she see that in you, especially not knowing you well? What was it?
I've always been like involved in the community. My parents have always been involved in the community, so I've always grown up in like a place where that's really common to just be like, hey, I'll help out with this. Like, what time is it at? I was like part of Rotary. I was part of our like Butler County 4-H group that like helped with the fair setup. I was involved in the fair. I like would bake. I showed horses. And so I guess most people in David City just kind of know me because my parents always helped and I always helped around with it as well.
Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about your role with the digital divide in a minute, but where is your real passion, Caroline? For those people who know you and know you well, what would they say is that thing about you that just sticks out?
I've always been really interested in technology, so I've always had people in my family be like, "Hey, how do you email this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's really easy. I can show you what to do." So I would say that probably like one of the bigger things that my friends would always say to me is like technology help. I mean, that's always where I've kind of been. I've always wanted to go into some kind of like technology career field. So.
Okay, so for those of us who haven't really always wanted to do that, Caroline, I have to ask the question, why? Where were you? Did it, just come to you at some point, or were there classes that you took, or was it just that you grew up with technology? What was it that really sparked your interest?
Technology has always fascinated me. I've always thought it was so cool. I mean, I've always wanted to know how it works, like how software programming works. And so when I get like opportunities to just like mess around with technology, I've always jumped at that. So it's always been kind of part of my life because I grew up with it. But I do really just love technology.
Okay, all right. So digital divide, obviously our topic today. At what point did you become, I mean, you live in a rural part of the state, but at what point did you become really aware that this was going on?
Over quarantine, actually. It was not quite a big deal for our family. We've always had like just enough Wi-Fi and internet to like get past if we had like online school assignments. But when we were all quarantined, there was 3 of us in the household that needed we needed the Wi-Fi to like get assignments done, to do work, to Zoom. And so we had to choose who got priority internet in our house. And so I always got it last because I'm a high schooler. I mean, obviously my mother needs to be able to use the Wi-Fi first. And then it was Kate because she was in college. She's my older sister. And then it was me. So that really affected me. I didn't really like notice it before because it never really been like a huge part of my life. Like I'd have been like, oh yeah, it's just slow internet, whatever. But like when you actually need to get your stuff done, it definitely opens your eyes to why it's such a big issue for some people.
And then, Dawn approaches you. So tell us, we had the pandemic about March of 2020. About when was it that Dawn approached you?
It would have been last summer. I don't remember quite when, but it was around last summer.
So that had to have been a driving force then, your frustration with not being able to access and saying, okay, I've got to be part of this. So Dawn approaches you, you apply, and you said you were really, really surprised to find out that you were selected as one of the 6 spokes people. Why though? I mean, why were you really, really surprised? Because of the number of people who had applied, or what was the story there?
Well, I mean, there's so many people like that could be great options for this. So I just kind of expected, I was like, I'll go into this like not expecting much because I mean, I didn't want to be disappointed. And when I actually got the email, I was like, they chose me out of like how many people to like try and represent this huge group with like doing amazing things. I don't know, it just didn't seem like a possibility for me to get to it until I was there, and I was just mind blown.
Well, talk to me, David City being such a small town, talk to me about the reaction that you received from your hometown there.
The reaction was really crazy. I remember like when I got the email, we're like, I don't know if I can tell a lot of people. And so I didn't really tell anybody. And then I got like hey, we're releasing like the press release that you got chosen. I was like, oh, so I can tell people. And so the first person I remember I told was actually my Spanish teacher. She was, we were just sitting in class, whatever. And apparently my mom had said something to her earlier about me like signing up for this huge like 4-H thing. And she's like, did you get it? And I was like, yeah, what? I was really confused because I didn't know she knew about it. And then my mom was like, yeah, I told her. And I was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I'm really excited about it. And we basically like geeked out over it for like 5 minutes. And then she was just so excited for me. So I got really positive feedback from everybody. Like my friends were excited for me and they just really support me in my decisions. And they were really excited. They're like, you can take us with you everywhere you go. I'm like, I don't think I can do that, but yes. So everybody was like, this is a really big deal. And my school was like proud to have me representing them. So I got really positive feedback from everybody in my community.
I was going to ask, I mean, it hasn't been that long ago that the announcement was made. How is has your life changed significantly? Was it just really a lot of activity there initially and now things are kind of calming down, or what are you finding?
It changed a little bit. It's more of, it's just like now I have this huge responsibility. So I'm like, well, I've got to represent what I'm representing well. So I've always tried to be, I've always kind of been more than most people, but I've always tried to represent this community and the program I'm now part of very, very well. So, that kind of changed, but for the most part, my community, other than being more like open about technology problems, no, not really. Nothing's really changed.
Well, I'm not surprised at all that they are so proud of you. That is quite an accomplishment, and I just want to congratulate you, especially knowing what I don't know about technology. Which brings me to my next point. How do you find with this topic, because it really is challenging for some people, how do you find that you're able to help people? What is your technique? How are you successful at this?
Well, I don't really focus more on the digital divide. So I help people find places to get their better internet because, as I can't do much about the problem of the Wi-Fi, I can just spread awareness that's an issue. So I pick a meeting spot for everybody to meet up where it has really good internet or Wi-Fi, and we basically build from there. I technically focus on internet safety and then digital literacy and just kind of the basics of how this works and how programs run so that people who haven't grown up with it can learn how it works and then ask questions and learn how to integrate technology into their daily lives.
So you mentioned internet safety. So we're going to put you on the spot here. What's probably the most important thing for us to know about internet safety?
I would say internet safety is just knowing what a scam is, because scams are everywhere now. You could open an email link from somebody you don't know, and all of a sudden you're getting hacked, you're getting scammed. You don't know what's going to happen. There's so many other things that can pass through. So I like building, especially in older people, what's a scam, on the cell phone. You will have people call you and they will tell you things that are not true and they will try to get money out of you. So I like to basically build on that and just show people what could be possibly a scam in an email, text message, or phone call. And then, yeah.
One of the things I've talked with folks about during the pandemic is the importance of collaboration. And here you've landed this position of being one of 6 national spokespeople, right, in the country. You're a go-to now, Caroline. You're becoming that person that people are going to pick up the phone and call or go to and talk with. And you're going to need to get pretty resourceful in a hurry. And in a town like David City, maybe that won't be so challenging, but maybe it will. How do you feel about becoming a point, for so many?
It's kind of scary, honestly. You have no responsibility, and all of a sudden you have so many people hey, can you help me with this or that? And I'm I love helping people. So it's not a bad thing, but it is kind of stressful to have all of this responsibility put on you all of a sudden. But I also do have some friends from our local Tech Changemaker program that they always want to help. So that helps a lot to have people who can back you up.
Okay, and one of the other things that you're going to need probably to be thinking about, and I'm sure you have, are goals. So it's one thing to be a spokesperson, to be that go-to, but you've got to have, goals to really drive being part of the solution. Have you thought about that much? And if you have, what are they?
I have thought about it a little bit. Since our local program is a little bit smaller, I tried to think small first. So I kind of want to build more awareness of internet safety first in my community. So that's probably my bigger goal, is just internet safety, because we have a lot of cases in our town where it's been these older people have gotten phone calls and they don't realize what it is until it's too late. And so that's affected my grandparents, and I know it's affected a lot of my friends. So that's always been really important to me. So that's probably my bigger goal.
Okay, and you are in this position, Caroline, for a year?
Yeah, so we're in it for about a year, and then the new 5 or 6 people for the national spokespeople will be picked, and then we will help train them their year, and then they will pass that on to the next generation.
Okay, I have to ask, where do you think we will find you in the next 5, maybe 5 years college, but maybe in the next 10 years? What is it that you're aspiring to do, and has this really played a role now in the direction you're going to take?
Yeah, I plan to work with 4-H a little bit longer, see where that can take me. But I also want to be an internet research scientist. So, yes, this has helped me a lot learn about, the internet and how to work with it. This was a really big opportunity with my career path that I want to choose. So, yeah, I plan to try to stay within 4-H and work with this technology program a lot longer. And hopefully that takes me to what I want to be when I grow up.
An internet research scientist. I believe that's the first I've heard of that, and I'm quite certain you're going to be very successful at it, Caroline. I want you to stick around for just a minute. I want to go back to Dawn and ask what is on the horizon, Dawn, for the digital divide, especially here in Nebraska. Does 4-H have any programs coming up? What is it that you're going to be doing here in the near future?
So Caroline alluded to other groups and others who support her. So we have 8 local county educators around the state in about 13 different counties as their accountability area that are starting Tech Changemaker programs. And so you'll start hearing from those groups about what they're going to be doing in their local communities. Not to say that they can't go outside of county boundaries either. It's a statewide team. We have about 31 Tech Changemakers. They've gone through their training and are going to get a digital badge at the end of their training once they complete it. And then they'll start developing programs based on the needs that are in their communities. And so, it may be teaching some people how to use different software programs. It may be doing escape rooms that focus on employability skills. Really in 4-H, we try and focus on experiential hands-on learning. And so we really want to get people on the computer experiencing things. We want to get them in rooms together. Even doing online learning is a new experience for some. And so being comfortable with utilizing technology and gaining technology skills. All of these Tech Changemakers across the state, I say they're very tech savvy, community minded youth, and they really want to help others. And so I'm really excited to work with this team over the next year.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Dawn, and it might seem kind of like a silly question, but this has got to be a huge feel good for you that you are, so instrumental in the lives of these younger folks. And I would imagine you'll be walking with somebody like Caroline for a while, sometime to come. You were the one who approached her and asked her to consider this, and now she is again, for our viewers, one of six spokespeople across the country. Here she is from David City, leading a charge as important as this one. Talk about that. That's huge.
Yes, so I've always been an educator all of my life. And so I really have a mission in life of helping youth to reach their fullest potential. And so it's very exciting to be a part of this program and be able to work with youth who are just absolutely amazing. They're creative. They're digital natives. So that it comes second nature to them. And even if it doesn't, much like Caroline said, she's not afraid to go kind of break it and fix it and try something else. And when they get together in their teams, they're brainstorming ideas and thinking about, what's this problem and how can we come up with some different solutions to help the people in our community. And so it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Okay, ladies, we have about a minute remaining. I want to ask each of you, give us about 30 seconds and your final thoughts. Dawn, you're up now, so we'll go ahead and start with you. Final thoughts.
So we have a day coming up called Digital Learning Day. So look out for that, because I think some of our programs around the state will be kicking off with some activities. That's coming up February 22nd. So excited to see what we have planned.
Okay, thank you so much. And Caroline, what about you? Final thoughts from you.
I mean, this has been a great opportunity, and I definitely recommend going to our website and learning more about it, because you can always be involved even if you're not like a national spokesperson. There's always something that you can do to help your community.
Caroline Slama and Dr. Dawn Lindsley, I want to thank both of you for being here. And Caroline, congratulations again to you. You go. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. I want to show our viewers, thank you both for joining us. I want to show our viewers websites in case they want more information about this great program, 4-h.org/changemakers, 402-472-1178, and then of course extension.unl.edu, 402-472-3027. As we close, a look at scenes from a UNO women's basketball game is seen through the lens of Avery Howard, a junior at UNO. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next week.
Consider This is an issues and information program produced by UNO Television. More information and program archives can be found at nebraskapublicmedia.org/considerthis. If you'd like to share your comments about this program, call UNO Television at 402-554-2516 during regular business hours, or send an email to cwyatt@unomaha.edu.
Coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Faded brass to a full.
It is the longest-running Omaha-based statewide television program on the air today. Hi everyone, I'm Kathy Wyatt, producer and host of Consider This. Now in our 25th season, we wish to acknowledge those who have made this educational journey possible. Our guests, underwriters, student crews, the Knowledge Network, the University of Nebraska at Omaha, and of course, viewers just like you. Thank you for watching.
There's a unique educational experience right here in Omaha. With access to top-rated programs, in-demand degrees, and a worldwide community of graduates, UNO prepares students for life, wherever it may lead. From Omaha to Italy to Uganda to Japan, Mavericks are working in communities around the globe. So where will a degree from UNO take you? UNO, access to exceptional, access to the world. Learn more at unomaha.edu.